as I was saying before, it has this euphoria to it, doesn't it? It has this, it kind of takes you somewhere. And it got me thinking while I was listening to that about how drugs have affected music. I mean, all creative industries. You know what I mean? Like, if you look through the decades and see which drugs were kind of prevalent at the time, you can see it reflected even in like children's TV programs. Like if you go and watch those old TV shows when in like from the 60s and stuff, you know, when there was, you know, acid and cannabis and everything was huge, and you had I'm a friendly lime called parsley and all of these weird trippy colors and a magic roundabout and all kinds of strange things going on. And then you got the 90s and they're just like, yeah, they're going to be mice and they're going to be on bikes. We'll give them leather jackets and turtles. What can we do with ninja turtles? Let's do ninja turtles. That'll be great. You know, you can see it happen like just throughout everything. But when you see it with music, it's louder than that, you know, because if you think of Jamaica, right, it's the first thing you think of. It's very, very relaxed and, you know, reggae, very chill. And then in the 90s again, amphetamines kind of came in and changed the situation. So they went from sort of no woman, no cry to you know, it was like, whoa, that was a change. That was a culture, you know, and that's the power of what you know. I'm trying to sort of modify my language for YouTube as much as I possibly can, but I what I find interesting about listening to this from the 60s with these peace inducing euphoric things is that it led to peace inducing euphoric music. And what I love about that is that when you listen to Nights in White Satin, I don't know about you, I get a little high, you know? I get a little high with my friends. I get a little high with that. I listen to that and I'm like, oh, I'm lifted, I'm transported. But you know what? It's not bad for my health. There's no sleepiness. I'm absolutely fine and cognitive again. You know, it's all good. And it's just, I love that, how kind of it's almost gone through a filter, how there's been a, you know, some altering chemical there that has then influenced a musician and then have like, to then create this music which can then influence the masses in that way, and kind of they've gotten peace from this thing and then they've transferred it to the masses without them ever having to do the thing, you know? Am I making any sense? I don't know. I'm just riffing here. Can I riff? I'm gonna riff. So, you know, that's kind of my thinking on that. And I feel like with this one, it's less of a reaction. Sorry, Melissa. It's less of a reaction to this one and more of just a Dan rants about the 60s kind of video, watches sort of the wrong video and watches a little bit of the right video, and probably came down on the wrong side of all of it. But that's what we're here for, I hope. It's interesting, isn't it? You know, and we're not just talking about recent times as well. This is a subject that we as musicians must kind of, it's part of music, you know, and I am certainly, don't do drugs, kids, and go to school. You know, like, I'm not advocating for anything right now, anything like that. But I'm saying it has had that culture has consistently been influenced by whatever was around at the time. Go back to Mozart, listen to some of Mozart's fugues, and tell me he wasn't off his head. Trust me, all right? And if we really want to get into it, I don't know if you've heard of the stoned ape theory, about our ancient ancestors discovering mushrooms and all that stuff. That's all theoretical. I don't know, but there's theories on the birth of art actually coming through sort of the intoxication of our ancestors. It's very, very interesting. You see it in the animal kingdom as well, particularly in cats. Like jaguars get off their heads and then just stare and just look at the jungle, canopy. I should really move on from this subject. I feel like I've gone down this tangent for way too long, and I'm walking on this really, really fine line. We're talking about animals getting high in nature and stuff. So some birds will specifically eat fermented fruits. That is very true, Mary. And also bees. Bees love a drink. They absolutely love it, and they will get addicted to fermented fruit, like pure, like sort of ethanol, in the same way that humans will. So you can actually get alcoholic bees, and you see them, right? In the summer, you see those like dozy, dizzy bees that are just like walking around in a circle, all kind of disheveled. You know what I mean? One wing is kind of up. They've got like 5 shoes on, and they're just like, it's just like, you've had enough, son, haven't you? You need to go back to the hive. But when they get to the hive, there are actually these little bouncer bees, who are just there. And like, if a bee comes in, he's all rowdy, he's like, and they're like, oh, no, mate, no, you're going away. And if he keeps trying to get in, if he's too drunk, they'll give him a good hiding and send him on his way. So sometimes you'll see some really kicked in bees knocking about. So don't drink too much, ladies and gentlemen and bees. Not good for you. Not a good look. But yeah, it's interesting how it sort of transcends the animal kingdom, the use of substances that kind of alter states of mind, Dolphins are another one. Why do I know so much about this? I'm really starting to question myself now. But dolphins, there's some footage out there of dolphins. Like, imagine this, right? This is going to sound crazy, but I've already started now. I'm in too deep. And it's Friday, so let's go. There's a video somewhere, I'm going to find it, of a circle of adolescent dolphins in the sea, wild dolphins, and they've got a pufferfish. And what they do is they nibble on the pufferfish, give it a little shake, it secretes its venom, they imbibe it, get a little high, and then they pass it on, and they're in like a circle, and they're just passing around like puff puff pass with the pufferfish. Now, isn't that just the most splendid thing? That these are the things that David Attenborough needs to be paying attention to, because that's something I haven't seen David cover. So David Attenborough, I would love to see him go on a kind of journey of the animal kingdom in many states of intoxication. Would be one hell of an interesting documentary, wouldn't it? Dearie me.